Hope that these videos have been illustrative to you. Our intent was to show you what a patient-provider exchange looks like when providers either take the "I am the expert, I know what needs to happen, and your role as patient is to follow along," versus a much more patient-centered perspective where we don't have the answers and we're respectful of meeting the patient where they are and then attempting to find common ground. I'd like you to know that as we did those videos, they weren't scripted. So the intent behind creating the videos was, as I just described. Video 1 was I'm in charge, video 2, I'm not in charge, and it was more of a self-management support perspective. So the exchange that you saw between Margaret and myself just got created from the moment as we went forward. As I reflect on those two videos, first of all, I felt very uncomfortable in the first video. It was very obvious to me that there were barriers. I ignored the barriers. Margaret kept trying to tell me that there were issues that she had concerns about. I felt in that video, as a provider, I just wanted to reassure her by telling her, and it was obviously not reassuring to her. I kept going, and really, we kept that conversation going until she ran out of gas. And then when she ran out of gas, she sort of caved. And I guess I won. But I think if you reflect on that and we look at that from a respectful communication and we ask, well, did I really hear what those barriers were? I think the answer would be no, I didn't. And if we asked Margaret whether I cared about those barriers, she would probably tell us that no, I came across as almost insensitive. I just was correcting her and telling her everything would be fine. In the second video, it was very clear from the beginning that she had a concern. So I actually started it off by not, telling her why I was there, but asking her, did she know why I was there? And then she didn't, so that led to a conversation about exercise. She was able to indicate what her barriers were, and I was then able to engage her in a conversation around potentially understanding how to overcome those barriers. It was very clear in the second video that Margaret never did exercise. So introducing exercise to somebody who's never exercised in the post-stroke period is a very risky thing to do, because you're asking people who are vulnerable in a stage of recovery to take on something they've never taken on. So it was very clear that Margaret had many barriers, and I felt that by addressing those barriers, she was really able to define what self-management was like for her. I felt comfortable that I was able to introduce that my role wasn't to be the expert and director, but to support her, that I would respect her choices, and I was really just asking her to accompany me on a journey. Someone who doesn't know what exercise really is like to fit into their life won't know until they try. And so for me, I felt success from that would be her willingness to cooperate and to go for that next step. She was able to indicate that, she didn't have a lot of confidence and she had a lot of concerns, but the concerns that were sufficiently addressed, that she was willing to take that first step. And so as a provider, we need to understand that we don't have to hit the home run every time. We don't have to solve the problems with our clinical interventions. If we can meet people where they are, help them to begin a journey that goes towards change, this is what is effective at supporting sustained health behavior change through the self-management model. So I hope you found these videos useful, and thanks for your attention.